This isn't really teaching my child good habits. If you're gonna buy one school supply, this is like it. Everything in here, you just dump it in. I'm wanting to keep pressing on, but that's not really fair to the child. I thought I would take the time to show you what's in my homeschool room because I love videos like this. So this is where I keep pretty much all of our supplies that we are going to use on a regular basis. I've got my computer there. We do use that quite a bit for, you know, like pulling up a video or music, that sort of thing. Just practical to keep it there all the time. And then these are all like reference books for me. And then this little stack is either things that need to be filed or things that I use. So this is kind of my little teacher area right here. And then on the bottom, this is where my son keeps all of his books that we use on a regular basis for lessons. So we've got, this is a natural history book, watercolor, or that's a nature notebook, a history book, geography book, term novel, fairy tales, more natural history, atlas, geography, history, more geography, reference, literature, Aesop's fables, and then math. And then this is where we basically stash random papers so they're not flying all over the place. And then we've got some extra watercolor paper, pastel pencils, trays, that sort of thing down here. So at the beginning of last year, like the first term, or maybe the first term or two, I was setting up all of our supplies that we needed for every day. And I quickly realized, like, this isn't really teaching my child good habits. Like if he was in school, the teacher would not be pulling out all his materials for him. And he really needs to, that's something that, you know, it's good for a child to learn, is the habits of setting everything up. I don't want to be doing everything for my children. So it was important to me that there was an area where everything would be on his level and accessible to him. Down here, I've got my printer. I think there's some extra art supplies in here. And then we've got like paper, stuff like that over on this side. Okay, so this is my kind of kindergarten shelf, or like, you know, more stuff for my daughter and my younger son. So on the left here, we've got our sand trays with our kinetic sand that we use for geography. My kids absolutely love playing with kinetic sand while we do any lesson. And I found it keeps them occupied for a really long time, like 20 minutes or longer, which is great if you're trying to keep toddlers entertained. In this basket right here, we've got a bunch of water wow pads. And then this is like a new thing. I ordered these, I think they call them like teacher bags or something, from Amazon just recently. Just this week actually, because my kids have all been really into like puzzles and, you know, just, what do we have in here? Like number cubes, pattern blocks, that sort of thing. But like the boxes that stuff comes in is bulky, and then it's annoying. Like the kids have to carry them upright or everything falls out. And I just found like with a toddler running around, I have a 1.5-year-old, they're kind of not very practical. So I know like the low consumption people hate this sort of thing, but I've just found it's really nice. I know people use these for like board games too, to cut down on those giant boxes. You can put everything in here, you just dump it in. You don't have to worry, especially if you're doing like a jigsaw puzzle. We have jigsaw puzzles in here. You don't have to worry about putting it all back together before you store it and then making sure it doesn't all like fall out into a closet. So these are number blocks. And then I'll show you what else we've got. This is like a dress-up puzzle. I'm not gonna take it out of the bag, but you can kind of see. It's this cute little dress-up puzzle. My kids love that one. My daughter especially, she's 3 years old. There's like an ABC puzzle. You get it, that sort of thing. And then these are my daughter's books that I want to read more frequently with her. Okay, and then this is our basically an area where we store all of our handicrafts. And I have them labeled. We have watercolor, Sloyd, and clay. And then I have another one for our printmaking craft. I really like these because it's kind of easy to shove everything in there and then kind of file it away. And then when you want to do the craft, you just pull it out. My children can easily pull it out themselves. So I like those. My only complaint about them is that it doesn't always hold as much as you want it to. But they are pretty big. They are 12 by 12 inches. So that's the clay one. And those came from Hobby Lobby, and they were like $4 a piece or something, so very affordable. And then over here, this is, I sometimes sell on eBay, and that's my like packaging that I just save. It's not exciting. Okay, so coming over, this is the other half of that shelf that I just showed you. On the top, right here we have, this is where we keep our artist study print. These prints are from Riverbend Press. This term we're studying Fra Angelico, which I'm so excited about. It's been really wonderful. And yeah, I think I just thrifted this little picture stand and works really well for that. Artist print doesn't work very well for like holding a book, but it works well for holding something light. And then in here, this is more of my stuff. So I have my CMEC Guides, Book of Centuries, and then I don't even know what's in these. I should probably go through it. And then these are just like extra coloring books, math workbooks, like art books, extra notebooks, clipboards, that sort of thing. Okay, coming over here, this is my blackboard. I think I got this at an estate sale. This is a real chalkboard, which is cool. And yeah, I usually just write things like that, you know, we may want to copy into a notebook, that sort of thing. We've got a globe. This is our little class pet. Right now it's a grasshopper. But yeah, that changes frequently. And then this is kind of cool. I got these from Amazon, and it's like this little kind of reusable checklist for kids. And this one has like afternoon occupations. So I haven't been the greatest about being super consistent with this, but in Charlotte Mason, the idea is that yes, you don't have lessons in the afternoon, but ideally you are doing, you know, like practicing things like handicrafts, piano, you know, being outside, reading, drawing, those sorts of things are what you want to be spending time on in the afternoon. I just find this helps too if my kids seem like they're kind of bored or restless. It helps to have something, say, okay, like these are the things that you can do, go do them. And ideally, I'm doing them too. And then this is a little vintage school desk that I got, I think on Facebook Marketplace. People in my area either give these away for free or charge you like $5 to $20 for them because I guess no one wants them. I think they're super cute. I had one of these little desks when I was a kid, and it was like my favorite thing in the world. I actually do have my son sit, this is his desk. I do have my son sit at this desk if he's doing handwriting specifically, because it's important to have your feet touching the ground so you're more stable. It's also nice it has a slope, which is also important for handwriting. And I know it's interesting. I mean, these, I don't know exactly how old these desks are. I think they're from like the 50s or 60s. you know, they actually used to keep some of those things in mind, and now everything is about like collaboration or something. So I guess we threw ergonomics out the window, but I think it's pretty important. So yeah, we actually use these desks, and then they can keep some of their supplies in there. I don't know, it's kind of a mess. Yeah, that's where he keeps some of his art supplies and things like that. And then this last little storage area, it's just a basket where the kids can come and grab things. I didn't really clean up, that's why it's kind of messy, but this is realistic, right? There's like some how to draw books, coloring books, and then my son does keep like his notebooks and workbooks that he uses for lessons in there. I can't decide if that works well or if you should just be keeping it all on the shelf with the books so everything is in one place. We'll see. I'll have to talk to him about it. Okay, and then this last wall here, it's still kind of a work in progress, but right here we have our timetable, which we have actually been following this pretty darn closely this year. And you know, it is true that it does help, like because I was finding with last year I was not sticking to this very closely, and it was always like math and handwriting that I was wanting to like press on because I felt like, you know, we weren't getting far enough. So this has actually been more of a discipline for me to make sure I'm not overtaxing my 7-year-old child's brain and giving them the time and space to giving him the time and space to make sure that he can take in enough for one day. And we shouldn't be, even if I'm wanting, like, okay, you're not getting this math lesson today, I'm wanting to keep pressing on, but that's not really fair to the child. You know, there really should be like kind of a limit. It shouldn't just be up to the whims of me as a teacher. That's not really fair to the child. So I think it's been really helpful. That's been my number one takeaway. And then it just feels like instead of pressing on, we are leaving each other wanting more, and then that gives us more time in the afternoon to actually pursue those things. So I've been finding it immensely helpful, and I'm really glad that I finally kind of decided to do my best to stick to it. And then this is our like child height chalkboard. It came from Amazon. It's not the best quality. I don't know if I would specifically recommend it. It's not a real slate like the other one, but it works okay. And we use this to practice letters for the most part. And then my toddler, like, as you can see, my toddler likes to scribble on it. So that's pretty neat. This is really cool. My friend actually came over. She only has a 6-month-old right now, but she really wants to homeschool. And she was like, can I come watch you guys homeschool? And I said, yes. And she brought me this poster and she's like, that's basically you. And I was like, that is like the biggest compliment. This lady's awesome. And then what else? Okay, this is really cool. This is a painting called The Great Recognition. I believe in a church in Florence. And in the middle is St. Thomas Aquinas. And he's surrounded by all of these, I don't know, I see Moses in there, obviously saints. And then I think at the bottom is like supposed to be representative of the liberal arts or something. I need like a chart explaining this to me because I'm not exactly sure who is who in this, but I would really love to know. And I think it's really beautiful. And actually my son likes to come over here and ask me about it. He was like, make sure you hang that at my level so I can see. I thought that was really neat. And then this is our letter board. Yes, I'm missing a letter. There's an I in discipline, ironically. But I actually had this at child height for the longest time, and my kids would always like destroy it. And I was like, why did it take me so long to figure out that I can just move this up? because it was driving me crazy. Okay, and then the last thing, this is also from Riverbend Press. This is our century timeline that we do as a family, and it's been really great. I'm not always as consistent about it as I would like to be, but basically when we read about someone or hear about someone, like a historical person or event, we just add it to our timeline. And the whole idea is that the child is supposed to get a good sense of time learning about it this way. And I did put when my son was born in 2017 and when I was born. So this is our table where most of our lessons happen. Obviously it's really beat up, and I think that's perfect for what we need. I don't want to my children that things should be beat up, obviously, but we do a lot of like arts and crafts project on here, and this way I just don't really have to worry about it being destroyed. This stand is, if you're gonna buy one school supply, this is like it, because every time we're basically doing any lesson, we either have like a book or something up here. It's just really helpful. And then this is our little handwriting alphabet, which is helpful if you are wanting to make sure your kids are forming their letters correctly. And then this is my logbook. It is basically my schedule, my timetable, but I shrink the text, and then I can just write everything on there as we're doing it. And I just keep it on a clipboard. This is exactly what I did last year, and it worked really well for me. And this way I'm not having to like set up a big notebook. I find also, I've just noticed, every time I try to have like a planner or notebook, if it's shut up in a book, I have this aversion to actually opening it. So having it just out on the clipboard is really helpful for my brain because I can see it, I can grab it, it's just right there. There's no barriers to overcome. And I've been pretty consistent about filling this in. It doesn't take very long. Okay, so that's really all I have for you. If there's something else you have a question about, or you want to know where I got something, or just anything at all, feel free to like follow me on Instagram. My handle is Mother's Bookshelf, and I have been a lot more active there lately in my stories. I'm like 8 months pregnant, so that's why I was kind of out of breath just from talking, which is kind of embarrassing. But yeah, I just haven't had the time to like edit full-length YouTube videos as much as I would like. So I'm more active on Instagram in my stories because I can just do that quickly. I don't have to worry about editing when I get a chance. So I have a lot of stories there. So if you would want more content, that's where to find me. All right, thanks.